What's happening, people? I'm back with another reaction video, and I'm reacting to an interview with Don Charles being interviewed by Umar Box Nation Umar, formerly known as Umar IFL Umar. So at the beginning of the video, Don Charles began to debunk a lot of rumors that had surfaced during fight week. Rumors saying that there was unrest in the camp of Daniel Dubois and that Don Charles had had a falling out with Stan Dubois. Don Charles explained that Daniel Dubois' training camp had come to an end on Friday, the 13th of September, and 2 days after, on the Sunday, he fell ill with some sort of cold flu virus. So he decided, along with the team, that it would be best for him to keep away from fight week so that no one in the team, especially Daniel Dubois, didn't catch his virus. And I totally understand the decision. Don Charles explained that he wouldn't be able to forgive himself if he had passed his virus on to Daniel Dubois and he ends up not fighting on Saturday and, getting in trouble with the promoters and all the fans who had paid money for hotels and bought tickets. So he did the responsible thing and just kept away from Daniel Dubois throughout the week. So as a team, they decided that Don Charles was only going to be with Daniel on the day of the fight. So if Daniel Dubois was to catch the virus that Don Charles had, the likelihood of symptoms showing up on the night of the fight would be very slim, because as Don Charles explained, that normally the symptoms of a virus usually shows up 48 hours later. So Don Charles's absence during fight week was just purely precautionary to protect Daniel Dubois. Nothing more, nothing less. And he described the people who had started this rumor to be wicked people. So Umar Box Nation Umar went on to ask Don Charles whether or not he had spoken to Spencer FEARON. So if any of you were paying attention last week, Spencer FEARON, I believe it was either on the Monday or the Tuesday, did an interview with IFL TV and also Boxing King Media, and was saying that Don Charles has had a falling out with Stan Dubois, and that Stan Dubois wanted to sack him after the Usyk defeat, and that Daniel Dubois doesn't listen to Don Charles. He only listens to his dad, doesn't listen to anyone in the team. And Spencer FEARON claimed that he had to persuade Stan Dubois not to sack Don Charles and to give him a chance. And then he was saying that Stan Dubois is into witchcraft and voodoo and was putting some sort of curse on Anthony Joshua so that he loses the fight. And then it was just really wild accusations and saying that um, Daniel Dubois is not going to prevail because his father's a worker of iniquity and Anthony Joshua is pure. So a lot of people listened to what Spencer said and kind of ran with it. And the reason why a lot of people ran with it is because, Spencer FEARON is known as the knowledge, and he's seems to be this all-knowing person in the boxing community that knows everything and will tell you about a fight that happened in 1948 between this person and that person. So a lot of people will just take what Spencer FEARON is saying as gospel because of his reputation. But now it looks like his reputation is on the line because Don Charles declared that everything that Spencer FEARON had said last week was a complete lie. And Don Charles told Umar Box Nation Umar not to mention Spencer FEARON's name again because the issue that he has with him is very, very personal. And his face was dead serious. And you could see the annoyance and anger on his face because it was slander against him and his team. Even though there was all this negativity during fight week, Daniel Dubois stayed focused throughout the whole week. And this is a testament to Daniel Dubois' growth as an individual. And this is work that Don Charles, his father, and the team have done with Daniel. They let Daniel Dubois know that the ring belongs to him. and that he belongs in the place that he is. And they really filled Daniel Dubois with a lot of confidence in himself and also confidence in his team. Don Charles said that Daniel Dubois took training camp deadly seriously to the point that he would walk into the gym and barely say hello to anyone. He was so locked in that he just wanted to just obviously get on with his training and was fully focused. And he said how no one in the team blew smoke up his arse at all. So Daniel Dubois didn't have any yes men around him telling him what he wants to hear. They told him the truth and he knuckled down and stuck to the plan that they drew out for him. And the plan was to seek and destroy. The plan was to knock down Anthony Joshua as many times as possible, because Don Charles said that he's sick and tired of people saying, oh, we got robbed by the referee, we got robbed by the judges. And he understood that AJ is the A side. So it was important for the team, for Daniel Dubois to win the fight convincingly. And that was to knock Anthony Joshua out. You could see from Daniel Dubois' ring walk that he meant business. You could see throughout the whole of fight week that he meant business. And all credit to Don Charles and the team for infusing that confidence inside of him. Now, seeing the way that Daniel Dubois executed the plan to perfection on Saturday proved that Spencer FEARON was talking a whole load of rubbish last week, because the way he fought was someone who listens to his team. It's someone who trained hard during training camp. During the lead up to this fight, Don Charles was very annoyed by the arrogance of Team AJ, especially Ben Davison, because he mentioned an interview that Ben Davison did about 6 weeks ago, and he said that that Anthony Joshua will be able to knock out Daniel Dubois, whenever he wants to, maybe in the first round or the second round. Don Charles more or less said that Ben Davison isn't experienced enough as he is. Don Charles has been grafting and been perfecting his game as a coach for 20 years. And he was saying how Ben Davison, he didn't say directly now, but he's just saying how people around AJ have only just been doing this for like 5 minutes now, and all of a sudden they're some sort of a professional. They talk about how they study tape and they study plans and study fights, and he's obviously talking about Ben Davison, who talks about how he studies the game. Don Charles said that a person can study as much as they like, but unless they have practical experience, their input is not effective. When you think about it, who has been tested the most between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua in their last few fights? In 13 months, Daniel Dubois has fought Usyk in August and lost. People called him a quitter and said negative things about him. But then he went on to fight Jarrell Miller, Philip Hrgovic, and Anthony Joshua. In all of those fights now, you've seen Daniel Dubois develop as a person. In the last 3 fights that Anthony Joshua has had, can we truly say that he's been tested? Against Franklin, against Otto Wallin, against Francis Ngannou. The deficiencies in Anthony Joshua's game that we saw in the first Andy Ruiz fight and both Usyk fights were very evident in the Daniel Dubois fight. So we have not seen any real improvement in Anthony Joshua's game. And this is what Don Charles was alluding to, because he didn't say it directly, but he was saying how no one's a yes man in Daniel Dubois' camp. So in a roundabout way, he was saying that Anthony Joshua has only yes men in his corner. And he was sold an illusion that all he needs to do is hit Daniel Dubois with one good right hand and he'll win the fight. But if Team Joshua really did their homework, they would have prepared for the best version of Daniel Dubois and seen what he has done in the last 13 months. I highly recommend that you watch the full interview with Don Charles. He is a true testament that teamwork makes the dream work. So let me know your thoughts and comments as well. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.